Hi friends, welcome back to Via Meditation channel. In today's video, I want to discuss the classic debate between the approach of meditation methods versus a no method approach. My own spiritual journey has been very intense and I've tasted and played with all the seven colors of the rainbow. My journey started with Osho, then it went to the Krishnamurtis, JK, UG, to George Gurdjieff, to Sufism, shamanism, Taoism, Zen, and many other masters from the Vedanta or non-duality lineage. As I tasted the variety of wisdom traditions, I've gathered some insights to give my perspective on this debate. So there is on one side, on one spectrum, the gurus or masters that advocate a no method approach. So amongst my masters that have really benefited me, UG Krishnamurti, HWL Poonja, and even J Krishnamurti falls into this method. Let us try to first understand where they're coming from and why they are saying that no approach is needed. So let's go with the classic Vedanta approach. The Vedanta would say anything that comes and goes, anything that changes is Maya. Anything that does not change is real, that is Brahman. So if you look at our own bodies, we were a small child, became a teenager, I'm a middle-aged man, hopefully tomorrow I will be an old man. So the body keeps changing. But the person who's observing this change does not change. So hence the body is Maya and the observer inside me who's observing all this change is Brahman. That is the consciousness, right? So this is the Vedanta approach, that you are observing all the change, whether in your body or around you. So you are aware of that. You can be aware of that. So like they say, I am that. I am that means I am the witness, the soul level entity, whatever you call it. Likewise, with Upanishads also say Tattvamasi, you are that. So when you are that already, no method is needed. That's the approach, and it's a very direct approach. It's like a hammer approach, you don't need to break it parts. Take a hammer and break. That's the approach those masters are taking. But let me say one more thing here is, if you're at the edge of the cliff, you're on the edge, then one jump will take you to nothingness. But what if you are away from the cliff? So many years of culture, conditioning, our fears and desires have actually taken us away from the cliff. So in reality, a modern man is not standing near the cliff. If you're standing near the cliff, I would say that no method is fine. You can just jump, you can just be that. But you actually moved away from the cliff. Your fears, desires, conditioning, culture has taken you really back. There's a very active mind we have, thoughts, emotions, feelings, which are the obstructions, so you cannot really realize the pure stillness inside you. And this is exactly why I am personally an advocate of methods. So when I started my journey with Osho and Gurdjieff, initially when I read J.K. Krishnamurti or U.G. Krishnamurti, I always loved them. They were very, very amazing to read. They provided me inspiration, but I could not see real changes in me. It's like we create suffering out of our habits. And unfortunately, we keep repeating those habits. We keep repeating. So man is a being of habit. So when you hear a spiritual lecture or when you read a great spiritual book, you do get inspired, but it does not last too long. We go back to our habits and we come back to exactly where we started from. We mastered that art of creating, that suffering, or whatever word you want to use. Suffering may be a very extreme word, but discontent, non-happy space, whichever word you want to fit in. What happens is, while you read, you get inspired, but real changes don't happen. That's why methods become very handy. Just going back to the no method approach again, like I remember one anecdote from HWL Poonja's book. It's called as Wake Up and Roar. It's a very great book, highly recommended, direct pointing to the truth, provided you're already meditating and you're at a stage where you can grasp it. So in that anecdote, a visitor comes to meet Poonja ji and he asked him a question, who am I? So Poonjaji asked him, where are you coming from? So he says, I'm coming from Kanpur. Then he asked him, how far is it? He says, 90 kilometers. Then Poonjaji asks the visitor that how long did it take for you to get here? He replied, 2.5 hours. Then he asked him back, why did it take 2.5 hours? So the man said, because of the distance. It's 90 kilometers away from where you are. So Poonjaji said, correct. Because there was a 90-kilometer distance, you need time of 2.5 hours to travel. But what is the distance between you and yourself inside you, the observer? There's no distance. There is no distance, no time should be needed. Now this is also correct. You can't deny it, it's correct. But is everyone ready at that stage of evolution to grasp this? I don't think so. Hence methods are needed. What methods do is, methods basically step by step bring you towards the cliff that I was talking about, the cliff of nothingness. And as methods grow and make you evolve, then you can actually start understanding the no method approach much better. So my personal recommendation for my own journey would be, you start with methods and then go towards the no method approach. Actually, the transition will happen automatically. All methods leave you. Like there's the story of a Buddhist story, that there were 4 men who were stuck in one side of the jungle. There was a river and they found a boat and they took the boat to go to the other side. Had they not gone to the village, they would have been killed by the wild animals. So out of respect for the boat, they were carrying the boat on their head in the village, 4 people. So somebody asked him, why are you doing this foolishness? Why are you carrying the boat? He says, no, this boat saved our life, and that's why we are showing respect to the boat. So same thing happens with the methods. You don't have to carry on your head all the time. Methods take you to a distance and you will realize it yourself that okay, methods have done their job. Then you leave those methods behind. But once you know the methods, you will be able to use them on days when you are not able to meditate. Like I still use certain active meditations of Osho, or I made many of my own meditations, but they were usually inspired from Osho's active meditation. But I use those meditations on the days when I'm not in the zone. Sometimes there's too many thoughts, there's so much stress at work, many things are happening. Those days I still use the method. So once you know the methods, it doesn't mean that you have to carry them on the head all the time. You can actually go back to them when it is needed. When it is not needed, just close your eyes and sit in meditation. One more thing I want to mention is that between the two approaches, like George Gurdjieff's approach was approach of methods, Osho's approach was an approach of methods, lots of methods by both of these masters. On the other side, we discussed the approach which is no method. There's also something in the middle, like Raman Maharishi, Zen masters, which will give you 1, 2 or 3 methods, some methods, but they will give you a method. Now what is the principle behind being in the middle? Like one is giving you too many methods. Too many methods are also needed for a simple reason that everybody is different. Someone likes shrimp, the other guy likes chicken, the other guy likes only vegetarian food. So we have people with many different types and preferences. Hence many methods can sometimes fit well into a particular personality. So that is why there's an importance of having a lot of methods. Now what does 1 or 2 methods do? Now this is a very important point to understand. See, ordinarily when you sit in meditation, you will actually notice, if you're a beginner, that you're attacked more by thoughts. Actually, we're always very busy on Instagram, on Facebook, on emails, on YouTube, on anything for that matter. We're always busy, occupied, right? So the moment you sit in meditation, thoughts attack you more. Actually, thoughts found you vacant for the first time, and hence they attack you more. So what happens is you're not able to meditate. Again, I'm making it a generic statement. Advanced meditators, intermediate meditators will be able to meditate. I'm saying why beginners find it difficult to meditate, because they actually feel more attacked by thoughts. So what happens is, like my Guru Sarvananda, he always says this thing to me is, you go to one so that you can go to none. By none he refers the eternal truth or nothingness. By one he refers to the method. So like for example, an elementary method like a mantra. For example, there are many methods. If you use a mantra, what are you trying to exactly do in a mantra? Okay, there could be vibrations of a mantra, and I'm not going there at the moment. But mantra is basically a sort of a concentration device, like a dharana. We all know that meditation is not concentration, but you can use a bit of concentration to reach a point where your meditation can flourish. So for example, if I'm repeating a mantra, it could be Om, Om. I have many distractions, many thoughts in my mind, but I'm using my discretion to bring myself to a single pointedness, one thought, that is Om. So if I get thoughts, I still go back to Om. So what I'm trying to do is, in this process, I'm trying to shun off the 99 distractions and focus on one, which is a mantra. So this way, mantra helps you narrow down. And these examples can be, used in many ways. For example, you can say candle gazing. It's a very elementary method, tantric method, very elementary method. But candle gazing also does the same thing. I've experimented a lot with it. Basically, you're trying to bring your senses to one point so the other distractions can go away. And in that sense, it also works. In Patanjali's yoga system, he will call it Dharana, Yana, Niyama, Asanas. So eventually you come to Dharana, which is bringing your attention down to one point. And once you do that, your meditation can actually flourish. So to summarize my talk, I would say, like how Vedanta says, that anything that changes is Maya, and anything that is eternal remains is Brahman. So changing is Maya, unchanging is Brahman. A Tantra would say changing as well as unchanging, both are Brahman. And Buddhism will go one step ahead and say everything is nothingness. Now in this journey, in this whole process, what my personal recommendation is, if you are a new beginner or if you are an intermediary person, there is the value of methods. Methods are needed to get going, to find stability. But once as your wisdom gets perfected, or your wisdom, you gather wisdom, then you can actually go to a no method approach. It will be faster. But I'll tell you one more thing. When I was young, I was reading U.G. Krishnamurti, I was reading J. Krishnamurti, but I was not grasping totally. I was liking it intellectually. I was loving what I was reading, but I was not able to 100% get a grasp of it. I was getting mentally something. But as I started doing meditation methods, I realized that what they were saying is true. But had I not meditated, had I not got deep into meditation, I'm not sure whether I would still be able to exactly get the same depth of understanding. So my summary would be, methods are needed to begin, and automatically methods will work on you and take you to a point where no method is needed. So this is how I would like to sum it up. Thank you for watching. Like I've said many times, meditation is a very hard subject to promote. Please like, subscribe, and share the videos. Thank you.